Okay, we're doing the last part of solving two-step equations, and that is when there is a fraction equation. Fraction equations get a little bit complicated because anytime kids see fractions, they get a little shut down. The biggest thing you want to do is get rid of the denominator. Get rid of what makes it a fraction. It makes it look a lot easier. Sometimes you get rid of the denominator first. Sometimes you get rid of the denominator second. When everything is on top of the denominator, you get rid of it first. Do you see here? This is x plus 5 divided by 3. Do you see how that's the case? X plus 5 divided by 3 is 6. Well, in order to solve it, I need to get rid of this denominator. So what's the opposite of divide by 3?
Multiply.
So I multiply both sides by 3. It cancels the 3 out. I'm left with x plus 5. And now it looks so much better. So much better. Now it's x plus 5 equals 18. How do I move plus 5? Minus 5. X is 13. It's not bad. It gets slightly complicated, and I'll show you the different situations. This one we're not even going to do, so I'm going to get rid of it right now so I can make a problem that you're, whoops, oh darn it, that you're really going to do. Okay, the next one says x minus 3 over 4, but over just means divide. X minus 3 divided by 4 is negative 6. What do I need to move first, the 3 or the 4? 4. And how am I going to move divide by 4? Yep, so multiply both sides by 4. Cancels that out. And I have x minus 3 left equals negative 24. Now how do you move minus 3? Plus it. Alright, now this is where it gets tricky with these integers. Am I going to add or subtract these two? Subtract because they're different signs. So you always have to be careful of that. Since they're different signs, I subtract them and I have more negatives. So these are the two type of fraction equations. You have something like this, and you have something like this. There is a difference. Can you see the difference? I want you to think about these two equations, and with somebody next to you, give two things that make them alike and two things that make them different. Okay, so similarities that I heard you guys talk about is they both have numbers. Ooh, that's good. That's a good one. Okay, the other one, my favorite one, is they're both fractions. They're definitely both got some fractions involved, right?
Both denominators are 4.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that was not purposeful. So both have a denominator of 4. Yep, Eli?
Both have division and multiplication.
Yeah, both have multiplication and division. What is different? This is the biggie. You need to be able to tell the difference. What's different about these? Noah?
The layout of them.
The layout. Describe that. I think you're right where I want you to be. The layout looks different. So what do you mean?
The one on the right has x plus 2 over 4.
Yep.
And the one on the left has 3x. Or, I mean, 3/4 x.
So one has everything is the fraction, right? See how this whole thing is a fraction. Here, I only have one part as the fraction. And that's when you solve it differently. That's when you need to solve things differently. So, oh, I spelled this wrong. Layout. You either have the whole thing as a fraction, or you have one part a fraction. Now, there's just a part that's a fraction, don't get rid of the denominator first. The first thing I would do is subtract 2 because you can. Your strategy is always move what's not sticking to it, move what is sticking to it. What's not sticking to it is my 2. I can move that. Could you move this 2 right now? It would be really hard with that denominator down there, right? So there's no way that I can move that 2. So then I get 3/4 x equals -1. And then however you want to solve this, I'm going to go ahead and times through by the reciprocal. And I get x is equal to -4/3. Here, you can't solve this one until you get rid of the denominator. So I would have to times both sides by 4 first. Whoops. That cancels, and you get x plus 2 equals 8, x equals 6. So this, although it looks more complicated, is a much easier way.